Hi. Welcome to English Fundamentals YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about the difference between past tense and past participle. Before we go straight to their differences, let's check out these examples first. Try to identify if the verb used in each sentence is a simple past tense or a past participle. They wrote a poem. They have written a poem. Is the word wrote in the first sentence a simple past tense? Or a past participle? Yes, it's in simple past tense form. And you're right if you think that the word written in the second sentence is in past participle form. So, what's the difference between the two? In English, we use the concept of tenses to talk about time, to refer to an action that happened in the past, is happening in the present, or will happen in the future. Now, let's focus on the past tense. Past tense is defined as a tense expressing an action that has happened or a state that previously existed. In other words, we use the past tense to talk about something that happened in the past. For example, I played football last weekend. We went to the grocery store last night. Both sentences suggest that the actions already happened in the past. These are completed actions. The verbs played and went are both in simple past tense form. Now, let's talk about the past participle. Past participle is defined as the form of a verb, which is used in forming perfect tenses, passive sentences, and sometimes as an adjective. In other words, participle is a form, and not a tense. Past participles are used when forming the perfect forms of tenses. Like these examples. They have played football since 4th grade. They had played football since 4th grade. If you noticed, we use the words have and had before the past participle played, as these words are required in forming the perfect tenses. Check this illustration to see closely their differences. The examples are divided into 3 categories. First is the base form of the verbs. Second is the simple past tense form of the verbs. Lastly, the past participle form of verbs. We also group the examples using different colors to see how the spellings differ from regular to irregular verbs. Now, let's read verbs in blue text. The base forms are watch and save. If you noticed, the past tense and past participle forms have the same spellings. They both added ed to form the past tense and the past participle. This is because these verbs are regular verbs. When the verb is regular, it has the same spelling when used both as past tense and past participle. Let's move to the verbs in green text. The base forms are bring and teach. As you can see, we didn't add ed or d to form the past tense. This is because these words are irregular verbs. However, these verbs have the same spelling when used as both past tense and past participle. I hope you can follow. Now, let's have the verbs in violet text. The base forms are go and drive. I know you've already figured out that these words are irregular verbs. The difference between these irregular verbs and the previous verbs in green text is that the spelling of the past tense is different from the spelling of past participle. In this case, the past tense of the verb go becomes went. And when used as past participle, it becomes gone. Same with the verb drive. The past tense is drove, and the past participle is driven. Let's see how they are used in sentences. I watched a movie last night. I had watched a movie last night. As you can see, the first example is in simple past tense, while the second example is in past perfect tense. If you remember, the words have, has, or had are required to form the perfect tense, just like in the second example. Also, the spellings are the same since the word watch is a regular verb. Let's see another example. My dad brought me cake. My dad has brought me cake. In here, the first example is in simple past tense, while the second example is in present perfect tense. We use the word has since our subject, my dad, is singular. Notice that although this verb is irregular, it has the same spelling when used as both past tense and past participle. Here's our last sentence example. We went to a field trip. We have gone to a field trip. Just like our previous examples, the verb in the first sentence is in simple past tense. The verb in second sentence is in present perfect tense. This verb is irregular. Observe that this kind of verb is written differently when used as past tense and past participle. For regular verbs, you'll start recognizing patterns after practicing them a bit. But for irregular verbs, the only way out is to memorize their past and past participle forms. Here are a few more irregular verbs in their past tense and past participle forms. Choose, chose, chosen. Fly, flew, flown. See, saw, seen. Take, took, taken. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Grow, grew, grown. Fall, fell, fallen. As mentioned earlier, aside from perfect tenses, past participles are also used as adjectives and in the passive voice. Check out these examples. He doesn't like a broken toy. The toy was broken by him. In the first sentence, the word broken is in past participle form used as adjective. While in the second sentence, the word broken is also in past participle form but used in passive voice. Alright. I hope you were able to get all that. If not, feel free to watch the video again. Also, try to share your own sentences in the comment section. Write 2 sentences using one verb. In one sentence, use the verb as simple past, and in another, as past participle. That's all for this video. If you learned from this lesson, please don't forget to like. Click the notification bell to catch our latest videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in our next lesson.